People deluded. Now, I was browsing through Twitter. You lot know I'm a big fan of giving people credit for their work. If I've got your name incorrect, I should really start this video again. But if I got your name incorrect, Mr. Simon Hill, forgive me. But I believe he's a member of the AST, and he's done a very good report. Like, you lot know me, I'm quite terrible at maths, and I don't talk about this financial thing and all these financial things because I just focus on football. I don't know what's going on in the club, so in terms of finances, so I'll be an idiot to try and make sense of it, people. But personally, I think he's done a very good job of breaking it down in it. So I've picked apart his report. Like I said, man, I think I go on my Twitter, I retweeted it, people, and go and look at it in it and draw up your own conclusions. But I've taken some relevant points for me that I feel are relevant, people. Like I said, it's a very good, and I've just lost it, but it's a very good piece of thing he's done. So shout out to Simon Hill. First key point I liked is that he put is the year 2017-18 obviously saw us lose the Champions League. As a result, we lost 40 million of football reserves. In the same period, our wage costs expanded by 40 million following one huge renegotiation, termination costs of Arsene Wenger and his support team, and 3 big signings. We know there's been a mismanagement of wages as well, but specifically the knockoff in it. A lot of you might have known this, but for me it's good in it. Player sales covered up for the operating loss at the time and generated huge profits, 120 million. So player sales made it look like we was more healthy than we possibly could have. This is why I don't like to talk about finances, people, because it can be manipulated and move mad. But do you see what I'm saying? Even more was invested in new signings than was raised from cash sales. Cash balances were bolstered by upfront payments from sponsors for the new commercial deals, which will commence in the 2019-20 season. So we was out here getting peas up front and being ticked stuff, basically, and them things there. Some of this cash was spent on squad signings in 2018. 61 million was spent on new players, including future installments due in 2020 and beyond. So money this is what I tell people. Again, I'm not a finance man, but just because you see a figure does not mean that is available for transfers. Even when we bring in players, that doesn't mean we bring in 20 million. 20 million goes to the transfer kitty. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying we should be in this position, but it's not always a case of that, innit? So you can see we've been... As for mismanagement, I can't really comment on that, people. But depending on how you look at it and how you manipulate certain balance sheets, we could have been projected to be in a healthier situation financially and off the field more than we was. In 2018 and 19, that season offered us no revenue growth, despite us obviously bringing in the Rwanda sleeve shirt deal and the run to the Europa League final. As TV revenues from the Europa League and the Premier League will fall slightly. The former, in brackets, he's put the former as we have to share revenues with Chelsea, the latter from less televised games. So we're sharing peas. So again, people, away from the obvious reasons we need Champions League, we really need Champions League football for real reasons, or these sort of things are going to hurt pockets very soon the longer this stuff persists. And this is why serious decisions have to be made in what we do on the field and off the field to put us in a healthy light. The one good thing with certain individuals, managers, CEOs and these things removing themselves is there's no hiding place. There's not any camps anymore, and that it was all Wenger's fault. And if it weren't all Wenger's fault, people, it was all Glazides, or it was all Kroenke's, or it's this and that. Do you see what I'm saying, people? There's no hiding place for that. Obviously, we know our wages are still high, and he's gone on to say costs remain high as wage bill at... I'm even like I can't read. Costs remain high as the wage bill has a full year impact on high wages being paid, and player... I cannot say that word, but I can't. I'm not that smart, but automatization, I cannot say that. Is similarly inflated by all the spending on new players in the winter and summer of 2018. I really moved like I can't read there. A huge loss of 54 million is locked in, and the minimum cash generated for transfers in the summer of 2019, in brackets, he said he estimates that it could be 44 million. Arsenal's... That's something else. So yeah, you can see, people, 45 million. 45 million. It just doesn't sound great, does it? Even if we sell players, like there's a certain the players that can be sold for profit, and we need to keep them, and the players that need to be moved on are not going to generate things. And again, the double whammy is the wage structure being mismanaged, because some players, whether it's the obvious ones that are the highest wage earners or just simply underperforming players, it makes it harder. If these players were on decent wages, at least teams could say, all right, cool, we can get a little deal there. But they're looking at it like, huh? You want that? And he's on that? It's mad for us. It's mad, people. Obviously, he's gone on to put 2019-20 sees help arrive in the form of a new sponsorship agreement agreed in 2018 with Adidas and the Emirates, and the new EPL TV cycle, which offers some overseas rights growth. All in all, we estimate close on 40 million of additional revenues will come in to almost balance the books, generating surplus cash of 72 million. As a result, a small modest increase in the wage bill of 10 million is allowed, for which net spend on squad departures, in brackets players leaving and loanees returning, means around 500k a week can be invested in the squad in summer 2019, from around 40 to 50 million cash and future commitments. So we have room to maneuver slightly in terms of wages. That's probably why you see Aubameyang and Lacazette linked with new deals. The club is effectively trying to go right with tying down players that actually deserve it and retaining resale value, if there is any, especially in Aubameyang's case, because it's a bit different, because yeah, he's linked with China, but in terms of his age, you don't think it's going to bring back anything really. In terms of the wages, clearly that allows us to renew their contracts, and it gives us some room to maneuver in terms of offering new players contracts. How long we have to move like that, I'm not sure, but again, this is why we need to move players off, players that are on the books already, quicker than we need to. And we're going to need to go down the approach, people, for me anyways, of quality over quantity, because we've given out contracts willy-nilly, we've signed underperforming players, and we're paying for a lot of it. Cash balances, now I don't think I've copied and pasted it right, but this is what really caught me, and this is what I really liked from Simon. He put, there is a general misconception that Arsenal are debt-free and sitting on spare cash. This is incorrect. The analysis of May 2018 accounts published back in March show that whilst there was substantial cash held at that time, brackets 231 million, it was largely spoken for, and he's put a table, debt services 36 million, working capital we can actually move with 50 million, net player payments due to 2018-19 was at 0, debt repayments came in at 9 million, one-off factors, whatever that means, that could be anything, came in at 17 million, spare cash standard at 119 million, net spend was minus 31, residual cash was 88 million. So it paints the picture, people. I'm not a transfer man, but when it's broken down like this is what I was telling you, lot, people. It's not rosy like that to a degree. And he's put in commas as well, well, not commas, the little starting. The assumption that 50% of the net payments due of the 61.4 million is to be paid within 12 months, with the remaining in future instalments. This estimated 88 million of residual cash is balanced by a further 92 million of net future payments still due on players in the 2019-20 season and beyond. Given the non-conservative approach from Arsenal, it is accordingly estimated that the only spare cash available at present is that which has been generated in the season to May 2019 before player sales. As the table first above shows, this is the region of 40 to 50 million. So we really probably do have 40 to 50 million. Of course, I hope to be wrong, but this is where scouts have to get it right, and we need to quality over quantity. This is why, for me, if it comes down to 40, 50 million, and it's even hard to find two players of that quality, left back, centre defence, let the young G's play up front, people. And if we're really going to spend 30 million on Carrasco, yes, with future payments and that, we do need a winger, people, and I'm a fan of Carrasco. But as much as we need a winger, and it's badly needed, people, would you honestly, and I'm a big advocate of bringing in a winger, would you lot say honestly with your heart, signing a winger is the better thing to do than bringing in a centre-half or a left-back and fixing up the spine? It's all opinion, so I hold nothing against you, and that's why I love football. But I know a lot of you don't believe that, innit? So if we do spend 30 million, for instance, depending on how it's paid, I don't know how them things work, but let's just say 50 minus 30, we've only got 20 million. That's not bringing in a centre-half and a left-back, people. That's not bringing in nothing, really and truly. Again, scouts do their job, you sign lesser profiles, do your thing. I hope, this is where I say, I hope serious dossiers have been there. I hope someone forced Mislintat to leave that USB with all the profiles of the scouting players he's been looking at. Because people are going to need to do a madness this summer and beyond. And finally, Arsenal are cash-strapped, were boxed in by FFP, and were saddled with existing debt payment obligations of 200 million. that would cost 250 million to refinance early. Our rival clubs have much more free cash flow to invest in transfers and salaries, arguably start with stronger clubs. So this is going to be an uphill struggle to narrow the gap. And this is why we could have, regardless of all of this, we still could have got top four. We need to remember that, innit? We let ourselves down with the players we had. Everybody let themselves down because we was a point behind it and we bottled it. But by the same token, this is why I'm prepared. This is why I want to strip things down to the bare bones, people. If you had a car, before you talk about the outer bonnet and the exhaust pipe, again, I'm not a mechanic, but strip it to the bare. You know when you GTA and you burn a car and it's just the outer layer? Strip it bare. Strip the house down to its foundations. Get the wages right. Get the mentality right. Get the back five right. Defending right. Work with... we've just brought in Leno, Torreira, Guendouzi, these sort of players. Bring in an adequate centre-half and a left-back. There's a couple young players, Nelson and that can be given chances. Torreira and these players. Yes, this season we can't fix it. It will still be a few short. But just start the blueprint. Just let these players play in it, people. Just move forward. You've signed Leno, he's a decent keeper. Give him a decent partnership in front of him, centre half wise. Bellerin to come back eventually. A left back, improve defensively, and we take it from there, people. We take it from there. Scouts do their job, and we build the side and we develop it. You know, Arsenal, we love projects. We love a project. I remember the last project, 2016. We was just saying if we can sign a striker to play with Ozil when he got 19 assists. Forgive me if it wasn't 2016. We can do this. We love the projects. We love the youth projects. We love the project where fans like me started to believe when Santi came in 1 year, Alexis the next year, Ozil, the next year, Alexis the next year. We're finishing relatively well in terms of the table. Again, I don't have it all to hand, but you get the point. On that note, though, I've got nothing more to add, people. So thank you very much, as usual, for tuning in. People, Deluded, thank you for watching. I'm out, though.